Welcome, guys, and welcome to SW6 Live. Yes, we're back, and it's been a very, very long time, too long actually, 3 months since I last put out anything live on the channel, if you like. But I will explain all in a little while, because I believe you deserve an explanation. Just disappearing like that. It wasn't something I wanted to do, guys. It was just something that I had to do. And I'll explain a little bit more as we go on, and also today, although I've already been dug out because it's like an Arsenal or a Gooner invasion today, because I've got an entire panel of Arsenal guys, and there's a reason for that, to be fair, because I wanted my first stream after a long time to be amongst friends, and yes, you can be friends of other clubs. And also, I want to talk about obviously our performance today, the 1-1 draw at Turf Moor against Burnley. Going to turn our attentions to Arsenal, and I'll be asking the questions to none other than the Gooners themselves, and asking them, why is their football club such a pantomime? And who better to ask than the Gooners themselves? So if we start off with who's actually on the panel tonight, then, guys, we'll start off with someone who's appeared SW6, obviously Arsenal Fans TV. Going to talk Sports Night Live, I must say, and obviously it's Guys Fans TV. Welcome back, Kenny Ken.
Yeah, it's a pleasure, Tony. It's like I said, last time I saw we did a hangout together. We beat you 3-0 at the Emirates, and I said that you guys got a lot of work to do, and look what happened. You won about, was it 12 games in a row? We virtually out of title, mate. So you should know. Never write off Chelsea. That's always been a motto since Abramovich has taken over. Like I said,
absolutely. It's completely changed, isn't it? It's a complete turnaround. And I'd like personally to thank Arsenal for getting us to change our style and to go on and romp the league in the way we're doing at this moment in time. And actually, if you may recall, Kenny, and I did actually tip us for the title right at the start.
You did, and I laughed at you. I laughed at you because I thought that Mourinho and Guardiola were better managers than Conte, and the fact that you finished 10th, and I thought, come on, mate, from 10th to 1st, it doesn't happen in football. But look what's happened before our eyes. Leicester can go from 1st to relegation, so football's a funny old game. As Greavesy said.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, nice to see you again, mate. And our second guest, and obviously on the panel tonight, is a man, obviously, we know him very, very well. He's probably the most, I know he don't like to be called this, but he's probably the most recognisable face. Although most of the time I only see his arm when he's on this channel. And by the way, if the audio's a bit dodgy out there, it's because of this man. But he's only building up. It's a massive face on the Arsenal scene. Arsenal Fans TV, Gooner Talk, Gooner News, Talk Sport, BT Sport, Sky Sports, you name it. Claude, welcome back, mate.
Okay, Tony, you all right, mate?
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, long time no see. And lovely to... You look really well, mate, actually.
Look well, you're joking, mate. I'm not very well at the moment. Very depressed, mate. Very depressed.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, in yourself, mate, you look good. You look good, buddy. But lovely to see you, mate, and welcome back to Chelsea SW6. And moving on to my third guest, and again, no stranger at all to Chelsea SW6. Again, a regular on Arsenal Fans TV. And the Gooner Talk, and you may have seen, guys, after Arsenal's shocking performance, I might add shocking, at Stamford Bridge in the 3-1 defeat, he went out and he went viral with his attack on Mesut Ozil and Arsene Wenger, so much so that his one of his players, Oxlade-Chamberlain, actually pressed the like button.
That's hilarious.
Welcome back, Afzal.
Yeah, great to be back. As always, my favourite Chelsea channel. In my opinion, the only good Chelsea channel around, SW6. So, yeah.
Well, it's very nice you say that, mate. Well, there's only 2 of us left now, and obviously they probably thought I was gone. And I'm back. So there you go. And
it's the good channel. The other one, not so good.
Well, there is another one as well, actually, isn't there? Because they kind of stopped and they started, and fair play to them all. Okay, guys, my fourth and final guest, and making his debut, I might add, on Chelsea SW6, but actually someone I've known for about 20 years. Now, this guy, I swear to God, if you've ever seen him, he's on Arsenal Fans TV Extra. Am I right in saying that, Lee?
Yeah, I'll do the extra show every now and again.
Extra part, yeah. And Gooner Talk and Sky's Fans TV. And, well, what can I say? Welcome to the very outspoken Mr. Lee Gunner.
Thanks, Tone. I've known you, what, is it at least 17 years, yeah? And I've known you when Chelsea was shit. I've known you when Chelsea have won everything. And, mate, you're a top guy.
I don't change, do I, mate?
No, you don't, mate. You're a legend, yeah. And, like, you should keep this channel going, mate. Don't ever stop doing this channel because you're quality, man. Well,
yeah. Well, do you know what, mate? There was lots of reasons, and I will obviously put that out there in a minute, guys. And I am really pleased to be back. And I just, you know, what can I say? Okay, well, look, I will explain that then, actually, very, very, very briefly. Look, I thought long and hard about it, right, in terms of... I was going to dig some people out, and I'm not going to, actually, because it's a bit classless, and even though they deserve it, I'm going to leave it at that. But what I will say is this. I stripped it back for lots and lots and lots of reasons, yeah? And combinating in the fact that about 3-4 months ago, funny enough, it was just before we played Arsenal at the Emirates. You might have seen me on Arsenal Fans TV at the time. And I got an offer, and you guys know about it, and it was something that sort of, I don't know, sort of sent my head a bit all over the place. I didn't know what to do, and it was basically, do I shut this down? Do I go with that? Do I do this? I didn't know what to do. And as my old man says to me, if you don't know what to do nothing. And that's exactly what I did. So I was a bit one of them ones. And then, of course, and Leah vouched for this because we're in the same industry, aren't we, mate? I got a promotion at work, something I've always wanted all my life. It's meant really, really long hours. And I don't know if you guys know out there, but when you're putting just a basic stream together, it can take up to 2-3 hours. And then, of course, you've got the stream itself. And I just didn't have the energy, guys, you know. And I had to make a few choices. But I've really missed this. And then something spurred me on a few. I'm not going to go into it too much, but something spurred me on about a week ago. And I thought to myself, do you know what? I am going to do this. I am going to build this right up. And funny enough, in that 3-month period, guys, I've really put a lot of effort and a lot, because I've actually got some great people now on the Facebook group. I don't know if you guys have seen that now. And we're almost approaching 50,000 guys. 50,000.
Nice,
you know, members.
Nice fun, mate.
Yeah, so I'm really proud of that. And I'd just like someone to come over onto the channel now. I'll build it up that way. But what can you say? You can't have everything in life. Right, regarding Hugo, look, funny enough, I spoke to Hugo today. Funny enough, did you guys see him in this celebration after the game at Anfield?
I saw him in the BT highlights, and because obviously I came back. Obviously, we lost against Watford, so I was very angry when I came home. And what made it worse is, well, it was a good thing because I know him very well, is that Luis scored, and all I could see was, who the bloody hell was that? Oh, God, it's Hugo again, isn't it?
Big white old jacket, you know, doesn't it?
You saw it. He stood out in his white jacket. Hugo, we love you.
I'm hearing from, I've heard on the grapevine from Chelsea fans that basically Hugo will probably go and watch Chelsea under fives. He'll go anything concerning Chelsea. He never misses a Chelsea game. He watches.
Yeah, and look, I mean, look, something happens, right? I don't want to go into it. We all know, don't we, guys? Yeah, but to be fair to Hugo and his personal life and everything else, right? It's best that we leave it there, isn't it? Yeah. But needless to say, he's a top lad, and at the moment, you're just going to have to deal with me and some of the new people that will be coming through the system through Chelsea SW6, I guess. I would like to actually say a couple of quick words, guys, just before we kick on. Mike Costin, massive big up to him with the graphics and everything with regards to the Facebook group. Incredible stuff that he's doing for us. Norman, 50, 60 years he's been following Chelsea, guys. And he's I love that guy. He's so professional and dedicated. And then we got, you guys know this lady, Francis Stanley.
Yeah, I know.
was at the game today, and she had to actually leave 5 minutes from the end. Her little kid was freezing cold up. You see, it was snowing and everything, like horrible.
Yeah.
And I mean, I went up there a couple of seasons ago, and trust me, it's taters in Burnley. I'm sure you guys know. And she's now part of the team as well. So I'm delighted, absolutely delighted. So we've got some really cracking people that are going to come on board. And let me tell you something now, guys. This channel is not going to go away. Not going to go away. So there you go. Okay. Well, I think I've said enough without sort of digging anyone out. And I
told you to say one more thing. Is that, like I said, you've got to realise, right, is that this channel's been fantastic. And what a lot of us, the reason why me, Claude, and Assal, and obviously Lee's going to come on as well, is because what it is that we're all football fans. Like football, we're all mates, and we all got knowledgeable about each other's clubs. And it's not about hate; it's about everyone getting on together. You know what I mean? And I think that's why we love the channel. And most importantly, so you're old school. You're authentic as well, and that's why people like myself, obviously, and Claude, will come on this anytime we're available. Because, like I said, it's talking about old times. And, you know, like football.
Lovely, isn't it? It's just lovely, isn't it? And do you know what? There's so many lovely names up there. Oh, look, Hugo's up there, actually. But listen, Hugo's up there, look. Hugo's actually in the chat. We've got, obviously, Mike Scene's up there. Daniel Sheldrake is old school. You know, well, love it. You know, I'm seeing some lovely.
Tony, I just want to say I'm so glad I just want to say that I'm so glad that you continue doing this, because I think this is the best Chelsea channel out there. So ignore all the haters and all the other jealous other channels, and just carry on with what you're doing.
Well, look, I mean, look, you see how much I had. I was going to read it all out, and I felt better myself, and I thought, no, do you know what? I've got too much class, and I don't mean that in an horrible way. I just thought, look, I'm going to say as it is, and we'll just go on, We'll just go on. Anyway, guys, okay, we dropped 2 points today. Is the title on for you now, Kenny?
No, because I think what's happened is that I think I'm not saying it in a horrible way. I think what Arsenal need to do is that they need to sort of regroup, reshape, consolidate, and take one game at a time. Because I think what's happening is that one thing, don't look at too many targets. You know, like I said, we've got 13 games left. We've got the FA Cup. We've got the Champions League. And what we've got to do is try and finish as high as we can. It's to put your eggs in the basket at the titles. I think that's a bridge too far for us in terms of points gained. Because I think what Arsenal have done previously, maybe before Christmas, especially after we lost against Man City and Everton, we started playing these big games before we concentrating on the low games. Like, for instance, we weren't concentrating on like the FA Cup. We were concentrating on Chelsea away, but we had Bournemouth away, which was a bonus thing. We nearly lost. And even before, like the Chelsea game, everyone was talking about, oh yeah, when we play Chelsea, we're going to play 4-3. We're going to play 4-3-3, 3 midfielders, attack Chelsea at pace. Oh yeah, by the way, we've got Watford. What happened? We weren't concentrating. Watford came there on the back of a very bad defeat in the FA Cup, consolidated, you know, took their chances, and they completely dominated the game. We weren't at the races. So if you want to ask me honestly, I think the Chelsea game was actually lost at full time at the Emirates at Watford, because the defeat was so demoralising and so inconvenient that we just couldn't get ourselves up for the Chelsea game, because our minds were on Watford. And then what made it worse is that you dropped points at Anfield. So again, it's not just a lack of confidence; it's frustration as well. And I think,
to be fair, Liverpool were always going to turn up against us. Didn't matter how many games they got beat prior. And no, what I was actually asking, Kenny, was what did you think of the performance of Chelsea today? You know, our game against Burnley. I mean, we had 77, I think 71% possession of the ball, but only 2 shots on goal. Although I thought it was half decent, but Burnley put in a colossus performance.
I think Burnley. I think when we played them at their ground at Turf Moor in October, they played virtually the same sort of system, and I thought they were fantastic. You know, the man of the match, I believe the man of the match when we played Burnley was Will Keane, and today he got the man of the match today. So that just says everything about how well Burnley played. They make themselves very difficult to beat, and they're very direct side. They play a bit of pace and like putting those crosses in. So it was always going to be very difficult for Chelsea. But the thing with this Chelsea side is that they know how to negotiate difficult games. And I think what helped Chelsea today is that because you've got that big cushion, even on Batshuayi to play alongside Costa, you didn't really need to win the game because you really a day. You went in the game with 9 points up, and like I said, I'm not saying you want to lose it, but like I said, it wasn't the worst result in the world for Chelsea. And I think that's one of the things that sets Chelsea apart from maybe their competitors, especially Arsenal, is that you've got game changers, you've got game managers in your side. Like everyone knows their job, and you've got a manager who kicks out every ball. I wish we had a manager like that.
No, it's fantastic. I mean, Antonio Conte is just absolutely a revelation, to be fair. And it was very noticeable actually how he switched the tactics in the second half. We brought on was it William, wasn't it, and Fabregas, and he went to a 4-4-2. It was around 70 minutes. But of course, Burnley went with 6 in midfield, didn't they? Even though it's 4-4-2, they kind of dropped in and the wing backs tucked in, didn't they? And didn't allow us a lot of space. And it was a bit of an old-fashioned type game, wasn't it, where the tackles were allowed to go. And I mean, it depends on which way you look at it. Was it a missed opportunity? It depends if your glass is half full or half empty. But for me, I thought it was a really, really decent point because I was looking at our fixtures and thinking, well, okay, we've got to go Old Trafford. We know that's going to be an emotional one and he's going to want to beat us and all that old stuff. But, on paper, our fixtures look half decent. What did you think, Lee, of Chelsea's performance today?
Well, I've got to confess, Tone, I actually didn't see the game.
You what? You're coming live on here?
Yeah, mate, I was watching paint dry instead. No, I'm only joking. I'm only joking. No, honestly, I didn't see the game. One thing I will say though, Tone, is Burnley, I might be wrong in saying this, so I'm sure there'll be some clever dick out there that'll put me right on this, yeah. I'm pretty sure Burnley they've got the best home record in the league. Well, they're at home, they were, wouldn't they? They were at Turf Moor today. They've
got the 4th best record in the league, apparently. The 4th. Someone, is it Carefree?
I don't even know if you were playing at home. Were you at home?
No, we were away, mate. It was a good away point, Lee.
Turf Moor, I think that Turf Moor, I think they've got 90% of their points this season at their home ground. And let's have it right, Kenny and Afzal, Claude, you all know this. Everyone knows. The whole world knows this. That's the football community. When we played Burnley, yeah, let's have it right here, right? Arsenal should not have won that game.
Even the games.
Yeah, we should not have won that game, right? They missed some absolute sitters in that game at 0-0. Yeah, and then obviously we scored the lucky handball, the dubious handball goal. It's very similar to Alexis Sanchez's goal yesterday. It was very, very similar.
Had a lot of that this season, didn't you? A lot. I mean, Arsenal.
Yeah, we have.
The luck that was suggested we don't want to be champions.
Helped us though, has it? It hasn't really helped us though, has it?
No.
Because at the end of the day, Chelsea, for all the Arsenal fans, if there is any that are watching this, I'm sure there is, right? There's a lot of Arsenal fans that seem to think we're the best team in the world, right? And
I'll get on to your fans in a minute, Lee. Don't worry about that one.
Yeah, no. I know we're coming on to that, which is why I'll bite my tongue for now. But when it comes back to Chelsea time, yeah, you've got, as Kenny said, you've got game changers. You can bring on Fabregas. You can bring on William. Yeah. You've got players in your team. I mean, Fabregas came on against us the other week, and Peter Cech assisted him with a fantastic goal. And Agent Cech. But I look at Chelsea since we beat them at the Emirates, and they're a completely different animal. Yeah, and today I don't think that's a bad result. Look, there's not many teams. There's hardly any teams. Liverpool have gone there and lost. Liverpool lost 4-3 there, I think. Yeah, we only just won in stoppage time against Burnley. Yeah, you've gone there and got a point. Well, that's a point closer to the title as far as Chelsea are concerned, and it puts you 10 points clear of Spurs and us. Yeah?
And do you know what's really weird?
Lost to Liverpool.
Do you know what's really weird, mate? About 10 or 11, 12, 15 days ago, I was looking at that table and thinking, right, when you got beat by Watford, it was like, wow, massive, yeah. And I was thinking, right, Arsenal's the danger. Oh, hang on a minute, no, it's Liverpool. No, hang on a minute, it's definitely Spurs. And now you're looking at thinking, it's City.
And you know what the funniest thing about it is, Tone, right? Is all the time you're looking
United
at
are a point behind.
Yeah, and all the time you're looking at these other clubs, Arsenal drop points against Watford, we then drop points to you, which then puts the buffer a little bit further. You then look at Liverpool, they go and lose to Hull, and then they go and they go and do Spurs. Yeah, so all these teams are taking points off each other, dropping points, losing points left, right, and centre, and the one constant is Chelsea are not losing. Yeah, so regardless of what everybody else is doing, Chelsea are still picking up points, regardless of whether it's only a point today. That's another point closest to the title. Yeah, you're now looking at it as a Chelsea fan. You're 10 points clear of Spurs and Arsenal, regardless of what form Man United, Man City are in. Yeah, Arsenal are in dire straits.
Looking at City's fixtures. I was looking at City's fixtures, Lee. They've got Liverpool and United pretty soon.
Yep.
You'd expect maybe a point or two drop there. I'm looking at our fixtures; they look quite kind, but I mean, obviously,
to be fair, I've seen the remaining fixtures for the top 6 teams, and Chelsea have got the easiest, in my opinion. I think it's
you've got to go White Hart Lane, haven't you?
Well, we've got Liverpool as well soon as well. We've got them at Anfield, and we've still got to go White Hart Lane. Arsenal are not in the title race. Let's have this right now, yeah. Let's have it live on your channel right now. Arsenal are not in the title race, yeah. If we get 4th, great. If we don't, we don't. To me, if it ain't first, it don't matter. Yeah, there's a lot of fans that disagree with that because the Champions League's the be all and end all now. But Chelsea have won the title, yeah. And if Chelsea don't win the title for whatever reason, they have only got themselves to blame because they are 10 points clear of Arsenal and Spurs. They have got to lose 4 games, and everybody else has got to capitalise on that to catch up and overtake.
If Man City go to Bournemouth and win tomorrow night, the gap's 8.
Well, it is, yeah, it is 8. But let's be honest, Tone, 8 points is a lot of points, yeah, with 13, 14 games to go, whatever it is, yeah. You know, you've got to lose 3 games, and them 3 games that you lose, yeah, they've got to win every game. Or you've got to drop points, say draws, for example, so you can lose 2 and draw 1. It ain't happening. Yeah, and I'll tell you why it's not happening. I won't go on forever because obviously the other guys are sat here waiting patiently as well, right? The reason it won't go, the reason it won't happen is because you've got a manager who lost back-to-back games against Liverpool and then us, and quite embarrassingly against us. Yeah, and I'm not trying to brag because it was. I know you were there, Time, right? And it was quite embarrassing, yeah, as a Chelsea fan to see a Chelsea team that have dominated the Premier League, yeah, and Europe to a certain degree, yeah, to just capitulate like that. So, you know, it was just embarrassing. And do you know what your manager did? Yeah, he just totally ripped up the philosophy and went, you know what, bollocks, we're going again. And when he did that, you're now a whole new, different Chelsea, yeah, and Chelsea.
And the question I was going to ask you, and obviously I want to pick up on this because I'll be very interested in what he thinks as well in a minute, is can you see us right now, bearing in mind that to learn a system, yeah, it takes time, doesn't it? Yeah. And we've now, if anyone was to copy our system inside out, outside in, they'd have to learn it over a period of games. And, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If we had better players, say in the summer, we went out and we got better players in that system that everyone's already programmed to play, could you see us going on to dominate like for 2-3 seasons?
Possibly. I'll tell you where I think Chelsea's weak link.
It's smiling, Kenny, isn't it?
No, let Lee finish. I'll tell you why.
I think it's possible because, firstly, you've got a top drawer manager who defensively is sound. Tactically, is so far ahead of everybody else, in my opinion, in the league this season. Whether that continues, we'll only find out in the future. But let's not write off Pep Guardiola and Jose Mourinho. They're 2 quality managers, and they haven't got their squad yet. Yeah, they've still got the players that from previous regimes. So I can
how much
see
money
Chelsea.
They want to spend?
Well, yeah, they've got. Well, Chelsea sort of went down that road. They've reined it in a little bit recently. We've actually spent less than you. Sorry, more than you. But I can see Chelsea. The thing with me with Chelsea is the weak link for Chelsea, in my opinion, is Gary Cahill. Yeah, and also Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta is a very good defender. Yeah, a very, very good defender. But playing in a back 3, I think you can get at him. Yeah, and the same with Cahill. Cahill's a liability, in my opinion. Yeah, David Luiz, he's just looked like unbelievable since he's come back and gone into this back three. He's looked unbelievable, and we all took the piss. Everyone.
And what did I tell you, boys? What did I tell you?
Everyone took the piss. Yeah. Everyone took the mick and said, "Oh, they've re-signed David Luiz, like Sideshow Bob," and they're all the memes are flying around. Mate, he has been absolute top drawer since he's come back to you lot. Yeah, and full credit to him and full credit to your manager. Yeah, but I can, to answer your question and shut up so everyone else can have a go. Yes, I can see there's a possibility of Chelsea dominating in the next 5 years, but that all depends on what Chelsea and Man United do, because they haven't got their own squads yet. They've got previous regime squads.
We always know that Mourinho's dangerous on the second year, don't we? So, you know.
Of course.
Anyway, Claude, did you watch the game today, mate?
No, mate. I missed it as well, mate. I'm getting very dissolute. I can't watch any game. I can't watch you lot win. I can't do it anymore, mate. I mean,
Can we ring the doctor, please? Well, I wanna... You all right, mate? You all right, buddy?
I listened to the second half on the radio because I thought I'd listen to it on the radio, but I could be bothered to. I can't watch it, man. I can't watch it. I just, it's making me more and more depressed watching you lot pull away. You know what I mean? I just can't.
Well, I mean, listen, they gave us a good game today. You know, it was. I'll tell you, it was a terrific game of football with hardly any chances. It was a real sort of midfield battle, wasn't it? Very, very old-fashioned type of game, to tell you the truth. A lot of crunching tackles going in, and you know, if ever it was a game where you might feel we might come unstuck, the snow coming down, freezing cold, wet snow, horrible conditions. But then, you know, with your Joey Buttons and all, you know, really fancying it. And, you know, but we rolled our sleeves up today and we played our game and we looked good in parts. I thought Hazard looked good. Obviously, our goal was superb, but mind you, their goal was an absolute weldy. Did you see their free kick? It was a good goal, Claude. Really, really good goal, mate. You know.
From what I was hearing, you was a bit you didn't have much in the other end of the pitch. You weren't really creating much, or.
We had plenty of the ball, mate. 71% possession. They give us the ball, you see, and they tucked in, and we were knocking it about, little pretty patterns, trying to behind them. And it was just falling short in the last moment, you know, getting a few crosses in, and they were like heading them out. It was one of those types of games, you know. Well, yeah, I mean, you know, can you see us, you know, dominating, Claude? And what I meant by it was, and I'm not sort of, you know, I suppose I am giving it much a bit, but I suppose where I'm looking at it is, we're talking about a team that's 1 year on in a system that no one's ever really tried in this league, and it's obviously been proven quite successful. And as a result of it, let's just say that you mentioned Gary Cahill, Lee, yeah, that we went out and we bought, you know, a better quality player in every single, you know, in a few positions. I mean, we've got players in the positions where I don't think you can. I mean, Kante's an absolute colossus, as we know, as you mentioned, David Luiz. You know, we're talking about some quality players in quality positions, but let's just say we went out and we bought some better quality players, but still stuck within the system, everyone knowing the game. Could you see us being quite dangerous for the next 2-3 years, Claude?
But you don't think the other teams are going to stand still, do you? I mean, maybe Arsenal might stand still, but I don't think the other teams will. Not only that, but you'll also have the Champions League next season. You'll have more European commitments. I think you've been I've got to be quite honest with you. Although you've done very well, I think you've been quite lucky not to get any injuries as well. You seem to be able to keep the same 11 for most of the season, which is quite fortunate. You wouldn't maybe not have done that if you'd been playing in the Champions League. So,
sure.
To assess that from next season, you'll have the Champions League, obviously, and it's going to be a bit more difficult. As for adding players, I think other teams will be adding. I don't think Guardiola's going to be I think he'll make wholesale changes next year. I think Man United will definitely make a lot of sense. And
only $500 million in a couple of years.
Spurs might be restricted a bit because of the stadium move, because they might have to. I don't think they'll be able to make too much. But with Arsenal, I mean, if we stay with Wenger, I mean, I think we'll be same again, unless we make a change of manager and get a different manager in, and we could be a bit more stronger next season if we got someone that actually organise us between the back line and the forward line and have the right balance instead of a man that just goes one way and just. Well, anyway, I don't want to really talk about it too much tonight, but you know what? You know where I'm coming from.
I do, mate. Yeah, I do. But I'm going to be talking about your team in a minute, though, mate. So cheer up. Oh, dear. Afsal, you watched the game, mate?
Yeah, I watched it.
Oh, thank goodness for that.
I'm not surprised it was a draw. Burnley's home record this season is 1-9, drawn 2, lost 3. So that's really, really good.
Just do a Google one then, mate. just do a quick sneaky Google.
No, I knew because I've got stats. I know my stats, you know. I know my stats.
Fair enough, mate. I
don't know my own stats, but I know my other stats. But, the thing is that the only games they've lost is to Arsenal, which we were very lucky. I mean, first of all, we didn't even dominate that game, and we obviously it was a handball / offside last-minute winner. Man City, they also lost to. They played very well that game, and they lost first game of the season to Swansea. But I thought you weren't at your best today, because I think Burnley actually took the game to you, which not many teams have done this season. I think you found it much harder today than you did last week against us. I think we were disgraceful last week. About that. Whereas actually Burnley, I was actually thinking, and I'm like, these lot are actually a decent team. You know, they seem well organized. Sean Dyche has got discipline in that team. I thought Fabregas, I think, should have started because there was not much flow in your midfield today until he came on. I thought when he came on, I think there was flow, and I think you kind of looked like you maybe were going to score, but you didn't create too much, Tony. You know, today like you've been doing over the week. However, the title's over. No one's going to catch you. The reason is because even if you slip up, which you will a few times, everyone else will slip up. Liverpool will get great results against all the big sides, but they've got slip ups in games like Hull, Burnley, Leicester, Crystal Palace. We'll never win a big game when Wenger's still around. We'll go to Anfield. We'll probably lose in a couple of weeks' time. So that's
nice and positive, Afsal.
Against the smaller teams, we're generally very, very good. Okay, we lost to Watford, all right, but that was, I would say, a blip. Against usually over the whole in the last few years, the things which have cost us is our big game team record. We're always bottom of that table when you compare head to head. Spurs are, I mean, they're a very good side, but I don't think they have it in them to go and win the title. As you saw yesterday, they completely fell apart in that first half. And Man City with that defense, they can't win a title with a defense like that. And Man United, next season, I think Mourinho will bring Man U as a force. But this season is a bit too early. You've got
it's also just getting there, isn't it? You know, it's also just. I think you know.
You've got the best manager. He's got the best tactics. He's got the best system, and I think you've got the best individual players in your side. You've got Costa, who's the best striker in the league. You've got Hazard, who's obviously top 3 or 4 in the league. You've got Kante, who's the best CDM in the league. As I agreed with Lee, the defense is your weakness is Cahill. He's got a lot of errors in him, but this season, since the Arsenal game where we beat you 3-0, I think he's been all right. Luiz has been a great signing. Luiz has been a great signing.
Funny enough.
Luiz has been a...
I'll just...
Carry on, Tony.
No, I was just going to say, funny enough, Kenny knows this because I was with him before and after the game at the Emirates, and I said to Kenny, didn't I? I said, well, they're going to lose this game, didn't I? And I'm not just giving it large here, but prior to that, you hadn't scored for 8 hours of football against us, yeah? 8 hours of football.
That was our only performance of the season. I think we've had 2 games
No, but this was before the 3 at the back system was ever even put into place, as we know. And of course, John Terry was very much part of our back line. So when we had Gary Cahill and David Luiz, who was slotted in just after we bought him, I'm thinking we're looking very. We had Branner as well on the opposite side. I knew, mate, if you come at us with pace, we were in trouble. And I just felt that day, I thought, you know what? I knew it was all wrong. Even when I went on, you know, your TV channel, I said, you know, we were shit, and we definitely needed to readdress it the way it was. And thank goodness, Antonio Conte, you are right. What a man, you know, to actually tear it all up and go,
brilliant,
right,
brilliant manager, brilliant mate.
Doing this, you know, and you know, you're going to play this system. And I mean, one of the things I noticed up till the time we played at the Emirates, just how lean and fit our players looked, and we're much sharper, much quicker, and we were much more pushed higher up the park.
Sorry to cut in there, Tone. Right, one thing I wanted to say as well, right? One thing that Antonio Conte can hold his hands up to and take all the credit for, yeah, Diego Costa, right? As far as Arsenal fans are concerned, he's just an arsehole, yeah. He is a horrible player to play against, yeah. Right, and you'd want him on your team. Every fan in the league would want him on their team, yeah. But you don't want to play against him. I'll tell you one thing Antonio Conte's done with him this season. Yeah, he's not a red card waiting to happen anymore.
Yeah, he's
reined him in and he's got him on side. And I think he was on one booking away from a suspension for weeks. Yeah. And weeks and weeks and weeks, and he just he didn't bite, he didn't get aggressive, he didn't kick off, he didn't get in the ref's face, yeah, he didn't stick the arm in, he didn't stick the head in, yeah, and he just kept it. And fair play to Conte for that, because I rate the guy. I think he's a quality striker, yeah, arguably the best in the league, yeah. On current form, he's definitely one of the best in the league with Sanchez and even Harry Kane. Yeah, but to keep his head on, and especially with the China thing, yeah, with his head being turned and all that, to keep his head on, and to keep him still banging in goals, and to keep you firing to a title, yeah, fair play to your manager for that, because that's seriously, mate, that is unbelievable, because there's not a lot of managers in world football that will be able to keep the geezer's head on, stop him getting sent off or a chance of being sent off, stop him racking up yellows, and whilst China are offering untold money, yeah, and to keep him firing in that, yeah, fair play. There's not many managers that could do that, and I respect Conte for that. I've got to admit, Tone, right, as an Arsenal fan, I'm looking at Chelsea, and I'm so jealous you've got him as your manager.
No, he's a great manager anyway, and also you've got to look at what he did, and you know, not just for the Italian national side, very ordinary Italian side. He's done wonders for them, but of course, what he's done for Juventus, he obviously done an invincible, as we all know, just incredible, weren't they? Really, I know it's a weaker league, the Italian league, but nevertheless, he's still done.
You still got to win the games, isn't you?
Fantastic. And what about Marcos Alonso? I mean, the way he picked that one out, because let's be honest, no one would have. Who was Marcos Alonso? None of us knew who he was. But Antonio Conte knows that league like nobody else. Yeah, he'll do for me. He'll slot in. He'll fit my system. Fantastic, you know, guys. You know. But look, I'm glad. Look, obviously it's a Chelsea channel, as we know, and I'm glad we've kicked off with a bit of Chelsea just before we get into you lot, because it's a bit of an invasion. It's a red invasion. Right. Well, let's talk Arsenal,
the Gooners are coming.
Lord's gone.
The Gooners are coming. The Gooners are coming. Right. Well, listen, guys, I want to talk Arsenal then, and look, it's gone mad. Meltdown. We've had Gary Neville, Adrian Durham, everyone kicking off and saying it's embarrassing and you've got no rights to say this and no rights to say that and this, that and the other. And you've got to say, right, with your supporters, and please take this in the best possible way, right? Because I had the balls, if you like, that after our game, and funny enough, you all, they don't mind me actually when I walk around here, they're quite respectful of me. As you know that, didn't you, Kenny? Yeah, and I walked around here, I was on my frigging own. And I'm thinking, oh, here we go. There's about 150 of them all wrapped around these, about 3 camera crews actually. And you also was so euphoric, you know, you beat us 3-0 and all that. And honestly, there was people dancing, weren't there? You know, it was people, we're going to win this, we're going to do that. When you got the stuff,
that's the problem with our fan base. We win one
I'm
game,
just
we're going to win the treble.
Yeah.
I swear to God, I couldn't believe what was going on outside the Emirates. There was people literally. There was this African TV channel. You know what I'm talking about here, Kenny? Yeah.
I remember.
Honestly, I've never seen anything
Our
like it.
fans had to win the treble. Yeah.
And well, don't get me wrong, it was pandemonium. We're going to win this, you know, we got us all, and all that stuff.
Yes.
And then you get Mustafi, and it's like, oh, we're winning Champions League now. You know, come on, you. And then you go mad, and it's so one way or the other. There's no balance. There's no. Do you know what I mean? There's none of that Libra and Scales, guys. It's either like, you know, we're brilliant, or we're shit. Out, Wenger out, Wenger in, Wenger out, Wenger in. I mean, it's a pantomime, guys.
No,
you know.
The thing is, Tony, is that I think what people realise is that you got to realise is that we got a powerful vehicle, which is Arsenal Fan TV, which goes out to every country in the world. It gets the most retweets. It gets the most downloads on Facebook, which so means that it gets a lot of repeat viewers. So what's happening is that a lot of opposition fans, when Arsenal lose, they want to use it as a stick to beat Arsenal fans with.
Yeah,
so some very thin-skinned Arsenal fans who basically have never had any love for Arsenal Fan TV and have basically don't want it to do well and don't like the people involved in it doing well, think that it's embarrassing them, when really it's not embarrassing them. If you don't like it, don't watch it. But in terms of our fan base is that, yes, you're 100% right. After the Chelsea game, I thought it was like Rome in 2006 when, you know, like when Italy won the World Cup, the way a lot of our fans were going on. and I'm making 100% right. One, because we haven't beaten Chelsea for a long time, and two, there was a realisation of something that I've always said, and I still stand by it. We've had our best squad for a long time because we've had. It's not just the fact that finally we had strong defenders on paper. We had Petr, who was a top-class goalkeeper, although he's had some bad errors since then. And midfield, we were stocked in midfield. And Wenger actually changed the system to be at the best out of chances. So it was all good during that time. However, you know, since then, you know, like I said, the old traits have come to haunt us in terms of like our performances in the big games. Like
it's not just Arsenal Fans TV though, is it, Kenny? Yeah, it's you. Look, Arsenal fans. I mean, look, we've got a lot of internet warriors too, you know, right? But you lot are pretty renowned for the old Twitter, and do you know what I mean?
We got there first, Tony. We got there first. That's all it is. The thing we've got to realise, right, is that Arsenal social media was one of the first ones there. And one of the reasons why Arsenal got there first is because simple reasons that that's when the Civil War started in terms of dissatisfaction with Arsene Wenger. People like I was Wenger out in 2009, and I believe Lee was probably Wenger out at the same time.
2011, Kenny. 2011.
I was 2011, 2012 as well.
Because guys, I want him to stay. I want him to stay.
I bet you do. You know we're not a threat when he's there.
Yeah, exactly. And I think what it is, right, is that it's become very powerful because of the fact of the matter is that there's still people at Arsenal Football Club who genuinely believe that Arsene Wenger's had this sort of, you know, long-term plan, and that when we pay off all our debts and we don't have to stadium debt, we're going to be able to spend money and compete with the best sides in the country. We get all these players because the reason why Arsenal haven't been successful because Arsene Wenger has had no money to spend in the stadium. They don't seem to forget that in 2007 when we played the League Cup final against Chelsea, he played the kids. People seem to overlook that. Yeah. They seem to overlook the fact that we played Birmingham, who later got relegated that season. They overlooked the fact that we lost that game. But that was all because of the 10-year plan. The 10-year plan included losing to Birmingham in the League Cup and playing the kids against Chelsea. Also, the 10-year plan included capitulating in the semi-final Champions League against Man United, where Cristiano Ronaldo's. Also, the 10-year plan included Manuel and Munya in goal. So, I mean, it was quite a plan. You know what I mean?
Right. But am I right in saying it though, Lee? Lee, you won't venture back into the Emirates. You won't go. Just you've had it. That's you.
Yeah, Tone. I've been to one game since we drew 2-2 with Barcelona, when I think we brought Theo Walcott on. We were 2-0 down. Ibrahimovic played for him. That's how long ago it was. Yeah,
he got both best goals for him.
April 2010. That one.
They were brilliant that night, though, weren't they?
I've been to one game since then. Yeah, Ibra dinked Almunia from about 30 yards. Yeah, and I've got to admit, right, I see all the good players. I see the best Barcelona team in history. Yeah, the best player that day was Xavi by an absolute country mile. That guy was an absolute Rolls Royce, mate. He was brilliant. Yeah, and you know, I've been to one game since then, Tone. Yeah, and that was the Norwich game last season, because that was the little mini protest game. Yeah, like everyone was going to protest, and our fans decided that rather than protesting, yeah, exactly. Rather than protesting, you're getting funny looks holding up this Time for Change banner. Yeah, I mean, luckily I didn't get no abuse, but I know of people that did get abuse. It came to fisticuffs and all that. Yeah, right, and that is the massive issue with Arsenal Football Club. Is, in my opinion, yeah, and I'm going to be quite controversial here, but I'm saying it how I see it, right? I've supported Arsenal 28 years, yeah? The first game I went to, I was 6 years old, and we lost 5-2 to Tottenham in a testimonial for Graham Riggs, yeah? And, like, I look at it, and I think what sucked me into Arsenal Football Club was the fact that, you know, we weren't great, yeah? We weren't fantastic, but we at least tried to win. Yeah, we had George Graham as the manager, and I know it's going back nearly 30 years, and we can all harp on about history of our football clubs. That's great, yeah. But Arsenal always tried to win, and then Wenger come along, and it was like, Arsene who? Who's this guy? Yeah, funny looking glasses, funny, like strange looking man like Mr. Bean. Yeah, right. And he was absolutely unbelievable, Tone. Yeah, as you know, right. He was just a breath of fresh air to this league, and we dominated. To the point where we went a whole season unbeaten, right? But in 2007, he jumped in bed with Stan Kroenke, right? Stan Kroenke took over at Arsenal Football Club, yeah, as the majority shareholder and full control of the club, yeah, to the point where one of our fan groups, yeah, I ain't even going to name them because I ain't even giving them the time of day, yeah? One of our fan groups put a banner up in that stadium saying, "Love football, hate Usmanov." Yeah, and they backed the wrong horse. Yeah, they backed the wrong horse. Yeah, they backed the wrong horse, mate. Because
you are absolutely 100% right.
Right, and I look at it and I just think, like, there would have been, Stan Kroenke's never won anything. Yeah, he ain't about winning. He's about money. Yeah, if you look at all of his franchises over in the US, none of them win nothing. Yeah, but they all make money, right? And there would have been a meeting with Stan Kroenke and Arsene Wenger, where they've sat down, and Stan Kroenke would have told him his long-term plan of Arsenal Football Club, right? And he had a choice. He could either stay the winning manager with the winning mentality that tried, or he could have an easy little life, yeah, and get paid a lot of money for an easy little life, yeah. And he chose to jump in bed with Kroenke and decided that winning wasn't a priority anymore. It was all about the Wonga, right? And Tone, I remember, I said this before we come on air, yeah? I remember sitting in the car with you the day Roman Abramovich took over at Chelsea, yeah? And the buzz on your face, yeah? You were excited, mate. I was just like, what the fuck, right? Yeah? You were doing my nutting all day. It was like, we're going to dominate the world. And Tone, you have. You've won everything, yeah? And yeah, he's thrown a lot of money at it, but Chelsea make more money than Arsenal now in terms of revenue. Yeah, their income's a lot higher than Arsenal's now.
I swear to God, guys, it's not just that. I just think commercially, if you look at our commercial deals, what our sponsorships, our kit manufacture, it's all bigger than you lot.
Well, the thing is, Tone, right? If you win, yeah, this is my philosophy on it, right? If you win something, if you win the Premier League, right, for the whole of the following season, you're the Premier League champions. The Premier League's the most watched football league in the world, yeah? You're the Premier League champions. That brings money because you're going to get other sponsorship deals off of the back of being Premier League champions. Who cares about finishing third or fourth? Oh, Arsenal got a deal. Yeah, whoopee-doo. Chelsea's deal is 10 times more than Arsenal's deal because they're champions. Yeah.
But you look at Abramovich, yeah. You look at Abramovich, right? When we score or we win, he's high-fiving and he's showing. He's doing
you know
that.
what? I had this conversation with a friend of mine the other day, right? When he was supposed to buy Tottenham, as everybody knows, right? He was en route to go and buy Tottenham. Yeah?
Thank God he didn't do that,
as he's in his helicopter, oh, good job he didn't do that, Kenny. I swear it was never at the end of it. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Right? And as he's in his helicopter flying to White Hart Lane to go and do the deal, he's flown over Stamford Bridge and he was like, "What's that down there?"
No, they stalled. Like, the rumour has it they stalled on a few quid. Typical Spurs, isn't it? They said no.
Yeah, exactly.
And he said, "Well, hang on, then we're rolled off."
Yeah, and then obviously he's bought Chelsea, but Chelsea's 10-year plan and 10-year model has been better than Arsenal's. And when Abramovich took over at Chelsea, he wasn't a Chelsea fan. He didn't really know nothing about football. But if you watch him now, he turns up for every home game. Yeah, he's kicking every ball. He's heading every ball. Yeah, he has become a Chelsea fan. Yeah, he's even sat in with the fans. He's sat with the fans. He goes to the pub with the fans. Yeah, I've seen the videos on YouTube of him doing that. And he's in with the fans. Yeah. Our owner don't even come over for games. And when he does, it's once a year for an AGM, if we're lucky. Yeah, and then he rapes £3 million out of the club. Yeah, for admin fees. Yeah, and it's got to stop, mate.
But this is you're exactly right, And okay, well, I'm going to throw one at you guys, right? I don't know if Claude's still there or whatever. If not, we'll get on to Afsal. But I swear to God, right. Look at this argument, guys. Yeah, Arsene Wenger, right? Now, okay, I jokingly I say I want him to stay in this, that, and the other. But has he done a bad job? I mean, you spent no money. You've had that stadium problem. I see Arsenal's problem. Maybe not so much Arsene Wenger. I think it's so much more deeper than that. I think it's your board, mate. I think Arsene Wenger's a class act. If you had the money, if you had...
I'll disagree. I'll tell you why I'll disagree with that, right? He has spent, in the last 2 or 3 seasons, 2 or 3 full seasons, he has spent more money than Chelsea. Yeah, we've got players like Yaya Sanogo on £30,000 a week. The geezer don't even get in a squad. Yeah, he gets loaned out to Ajax, and Ajax send him back because he's shit. We're paying the boy 30 grand a week, right? We go and pay. I mean, Olivier Giroud, right? Say what you want about him, yeah. This season, and since he's been at Arsenal, his actual overall record, games and goals, yeah, is actually not bad, right? But he's not going to win you the title, Tone, yeah. He's not a Diego Costa. He's not an Alexis Sanchez. He's not a Kun Aguero, right? He's not even a Harry Kane. But I'll tell you one thing with him is he is the best plan B. Yeah, well, he's the best plan B in the world. Yeah, but he ain't worth the money we're paying him for being a plan B. Yeah, and that is Arsenal's problem, right? When you strip it back and have a look at, I tweeted this out the other day, yeah, because the stadium holding us back has been a myth since we moved to it, right? 100%. I tweeted it out. Yeah, it is. It is, Ken. Right? I tweeted it out the other day, how much money we made the last season in terms of revenue, income, in the last season at Highbury and our wage bill, then the next 3 seasons at the Emirates and the wage bill. Yeah. And if you look at all of them, right, we've made an absolute fortune in terms of profit. Yeah. And compare that to the rest of the teams around us. Yeah. And people go, oh, you can't.
Yeah, you can't. I read somewhere, is it 200 million cash rich, actually, physical readies, you know?
Yeah, people say we can't compete, right? The Emirates Stadium costs £20 million a year, yeah? It's on a mortgage for 25 years since 2006, so it's not paid off until 2031. Yet the whole world have been brainwashed into thinking that that's already paid, yeah, and we can now compete because it was paid in 2014. It's not. It's paid in 2031. 20 million a year that costs. Qualifying top 4 for Champions League pays that stadium debt, right? When you're paying out players like Denilson, Sanogo, yeah, paying them out 50, 60, 70 grand a week, yeah, it's ridiculous, Tone. And then we won't go and break our wage barrier and structure for players like Van Persie, who walks off to Man United and go and win a title, yeah, and that's what really gets my back up, right? And there's. I personally, yeah, my opinion is I personally hate, and hate is a strong word, I hate Arsene Wenger for what he has done to my football club. Because when I started supporting Arsenal Football Club, we tried to win. Now he's created and brainwashed over 20 years, especially the last 15 years, he's created a whole generation of Arsenal fans that are happy with not winning. Yeah, and they're 20 years old, 25 years old, 26 years old. So they're going to go into their 30s and their 40s happy we're not winning, yeah, or not even competing. And it's the not competing that gets me. At least do what is required. All he does is the cheapest way to get top 4. And Stan Kroenke, keep paying him and keep giving him a new contract because he keeps doing it on the cheap.
You see, Arsenal to me, guys, right, when I used to think of Arsenal, you know, when I was 16, 17, 18 years of age, and when you used to think of Arsenal, it was just big club, you know, Arsenal, the Arsenal, yeah? I don't see that in the same light. It's not to say that you're a small club, because you're not, yeah? You're a big club like Chelsea. But what I'm saying is, you don't look at it in the same way as I did back then, do you know what I mean? And you are right about that, Lee. If you're all 25, 26, you don't remember that, do you? But let me throw one, and I'll go on to Afsal if I may. Afsal, you said, obviously, the game against us, it was toxic in your video, and you said there was fighting. DT also said it as well. Am I right in saying it's fighting amongst your own? I mean, that's not good at all. Do you think there's just it's got to go to fix this problem, or can you see it getting worse?
No, I think if he goes, it will get better. It won't completely disappear, but I think it will get a bit better. The problem is that the tension between the fans has been going on for about, I'd say, since 2013 when we lost 3-1 at home to Villa. I think that kind of was the first starters for it. And then that season we lost 5-1 and obviously 6-0 to you guys. And fans were obviously, because see, the first group of Wenger out started around 2011, 2012.
Yeah.
I was Wenger out 2011, 2012. Well, when he saw Van Persie, that's when it sealed the deal for me. Before that, I was Wenger out, but I was never vocal about it because I was like, he's done a lot for this club, so I should respect him and I should give him time to solve whatever the problems are. But obviously, he didn't solve it. And then 2014, people started being very vocal about it. And that's what obviously caused this all poisonous, tense atmosphere. Because in away games, it's more in away games because obviously people speak out their frustration, people speak out their anger, people shout Wenger out, people will hold out banners. And then obviously the Wenger-ins will get upset and, you know, fights and all that stuff happen. Like last week, it happened after 3-0 went in. The "We want Wenger out" chant started going around, and then 1 minute later, you just see a few stewards piling in on the right of me, and I think a couple of people. I think they didn't really. It wasn't a bad bust up. I think it was a small, you know, very small bust up. But that shouldn't happen. But I think if he goes, I think it will solve it a bit. I really think it will solve it. However, I'm going to be like a bit balanced here. I think he is the main problem, but he's not all the problem. In my opinion.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that.
No, but can I, right?
You know why it's not the reason why, see, I'd say he's maybe, I don't know, see, he's the majority, he's the main problem. Then it probably goes Wenger first, then maybe the players not putting in effort second, maybe the board has a problem. Fans are a problem, by the way. I think our fans are a big problem, in my opinion. The reason why our fans are a big problem is because, like you just said, we're going to win the treble, yeah? When we win a big game, we're going to win the... No, it's not that. Our fans are so thick, yeah? They can't see the bigger picture of things, yeah? It's like there's a pass. Oh, my God, he's the best player in the world. Flipping out, you just did a pass, yeah? Seriously, you scored a great goal. Oh my God! When he scored that goal in the Champions League, I actually thought we won the Champions League. It's not our fans in the stadium. Don't get me wrong. It's not our fans in the stadium. Our fans in the stadium are all right. It's the Twitter fans, the social media fans. Yeah. Ozil does a flick or a turn. Oh, this guy is the best number 10 in the world. Hazard couldn't do that. Coutinho couldn't do that. Like too much emphasis on one player because we've got this player. We are the best in the world, you know, that sort of thing. Like our fans are very, and then they switch. We lose to Watford, and then they'll start saying, "Oh, this player's like this, this player's like that, this player's like this, this player's like that." It's very, people, I don't know what they do, but so much, you know. 1 week this, 1 week that, and I don't know. And players are a problem as well, because you know what? Yeah? No matter how much problem the manager is, the players should be giving 100%. Yeah, when they're out on the field. Yeah. So okay, obviously you need a motivation of a manager. You should need. You can't freaking try themselves. Yeah. Out on the field, it's not acceptable. Yeah. When the new manager comes in, around a bit, yeah? Get good money for them.
Whose kids are in the background?
They're mine. They're mine. They're mine.
Can I?
Yeah.
I want to play, if I may, devil's advocate, if you like, yeah. Now, okay, I understand. You know, you want him gone. For you, it's the only solution. That's the only way it's going to go. And I'll throw this one at you as well, Lee. Really, but just playing devil's advocate. Look, with no money in this stadium, like, and I know you've given an explanation for that, Lee. But throughout that situation, you've always been in the top four, right? So you could argue then there's a lot of clubs that would love to be in your position. Why are you always complaining? For example, Liverpool haven't won a league title for 26 years, right? Manchester United before Fergie, 27 years. Spurs, 56 years, right?
Tone. Right, let me answer your question.
I'm just throwing it open, guys. You know.
Right, let me answer your question.
A little bit overcritical?
Every other fan of every other club looks at Arsenal and says, firstly, they're an embarrassment because of the biggest fan TV channel in the world. Yeah, it's just jealousy, right? They're jealous because our fan TV channel is the biggest in the world, right? So it gets more airtime than any other TV channel out there, fan TV channel out there. Yeah. Secondly, any other fan, right? I had a debate the other day with a Newcastle United fan, right? And yesterday I went to get beer at the garage yesterday, saying Arsenal fans are a disgrace, wanting Wenger out, right? I'll tell you something, right? Firstly, they support a team that are lesser than my club. Yeah, my club are one of the biggest clubs in world football. Yeah, regardless of how shit we are and how shit I say we are. Yeah, we are still one of the biggest brands and footballing clubs in world football. Right. So when I've got a Newcastle fan or a Tottenham fan, yeah, or anybody else, you just worry about your own club, yeah, because your club have got different targets, your club have got different budgets, your club have got a different manager, your club have got different mentality to what my club have got, yeah. Everybody knows, and you've said it at a bit earlier on time, yeah. When you were younger and growing up, it was the Arsenal. We're the Arsenal. They're a classy football club, yeah, right. Newcastle United might have a massive fan base in Newcastle, but globally they've got fuck all.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So when a Newcastle fan saying to me, "Oh, you not," I had a Derby County fan the other day. Yeah, let's have it right. Yeah, Derby County. My little brother's got a season ticket for Derby County. Yeah, bless him. Right. Yeah, and I wind him. They were 3-0 down to Bristol City yesterday. Yeah, let's have it right. Yeah, we're on different tiers here. It is a lovely ground. The iPro Stadium is a beautiful ground, right?
Yeah, but and they got. I'll tell you what I like about it. They got a Starbucks right at the bottom.
But we've got different targets. Everyone's got different targets, time, right? Arsenal fans can take the piss out of Chelsea, yeah, and say this and that. But at the end of the day, as a Chelsea fan, you can go, Champions League. What have Arsenal won?
Nothing.
Yeah, we've won in Europe. You ain't. Yeah. Arsenal fans can go to Liverpool fans. Well, we've won the Premier League. Come back when you won the Premier League. Everyone's got a different target, Tony. Yeah. Man United might be sat 5th or 6th in the league. Yeah. But they can sit there and go, well, hang on, we've won the Premier League more times than any other team in it. Yeah, so everyone's got a different target. So when other fans, and Tottenham, they're not even worth talking about. Yeah, you know, the tide has changed. Well, when they've won, you know, since they last won the league, I think we've won it 6 times. Yeah, since they last won the FA Cup, we've won it 7.
1961, they won it, mate.
Yeah, right. So, you know, and when they go on an unbeaten season and win all the titles we've won in that, you know, then they can talk about power shifts. Until then, they're irrelevant, as far as I'm concerned. Right. So, in answer to your question, all these other fans that look at Arsenal and say, well, what are you worried about? Oh, look, you get 4th every season, you get Champions League. we've got different targets to what your club have got. Yeah. We've got a different budget to what your club have got, and we've got different philosophy to what your club have got. So when your club get onto our level, then we'll start talking. Until then, worry about your own club, and we'll worry about Arsenal out or Arsenal in. Yeah, and that's how I see it, Tom.
Lee, can I just cut in for 1 minute, though? One of the things,
of course, man.
One of the things you said, you mentioned about budget, and I think that's my biggest argument is that when we were given these, what I call fairy tales about how Arsenal.
Carry on chatting for 1 second, Kenny. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but you know what I'm trying to say is, like, we had these fairy tales where people were saying about how Arsene Wenger's never had money to spend and how we're behind. What I've always said about us getting the top four, and they always said it was a great job that Arsene Wenger, we got the top four. I've always said, well, hang on here. From 2006, even up until today, present day, we've always had a bigger budget than our rivals. We've had a bigger budget than Spurs.
Yeah, bar Man United.
Bar Man
United.
We've had Chelsea, Man City, and maybe have had bigger budgets than us, and Man United have bigger budgets. We had the same budget as Liverpool. We had a bigger budget than Spurs. So it's only is there any wonder that we were getting in the top four? That's not an achievement. That's just a fact. Plus, we've had great players as well. Even when we weren't winning leagues, we still had players like Van Persie. We still had Kleb.
Yeah.
We still had Adebayor when he tried, and we've had.
Yeah,
we had a.
Adebayor was a fantastic player for us. Yeah, and he scored a lot of goals for us in one particular season.
One season. Yeah, we had Fabregas. We had Nasri. These are all fantastic players. It was no wonder that we were getting in the top four. It was an achievement. Come on, even when Spurs had Bale, the reason why Spurs didn't get in the top four is one, they relied on one player, and two, they didn't have the structure of play they had before. So when these people come out these fairy tales that Arsene Wenger's a god for getting to the top four. Do
you know what, Kenny? You're obviously older than me. Yeah. You've seen Arsenal before I was born, right? And you've seen the dark days, right? But I just look at it and I just think, right, my mentality, obviously society's changed now, right? And obviously football society's changed as well, right? Champions League, Sky Sports, in my opinion, has killed football. Right, because Sky Sports have come along and they did a fantastic job in the early days from '93 up to maybe 2003, 2004. But then after that, they flooded it with money, right? And then obviously the Champions League kicks in, right? And then obviously it opened it up to 4 spaces. When I was younger, you had to win the title to get into the Champions League. There was no second place getting in it, third place, fourth place getting in it. Exactly. You had to win.
And it was a knockout.
Yeah, exactly.
Lee, I've got a story for you as well.
I'd rather come out the top four this season.
I've got 2 stories for you as well, guys. In 1979, 1978-79, Liverpool won the European Cup. In the first round, they played Nottingham Forest.
Yeah,
so there was no seeding, and they actually lost to Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest went and won the title. And in 1990, 89-90, the second knockout stage, there was Real Madrid played AC Milan. Obviously, AC Milan won it. Yeah. There was none of this seeding. If you won a Champions European Cup, you were the best team in Europe. No way about it.
And that's what makes me laugh now, is because a whole generation of fans, not just Arsenal fans, but any fans of any top club, go, oh yeah, we need to get top 4. Yeah, mate, top 4 20 years ago didn't exist. It was first or nothing. Yeah, so and yes, Arsene has got a massive role to play in that, because he's created a lot of our fans that are of the mindset of, well, let's just get top 4. Yeah, we can qualify for Champions League, right? And
I've got to say that you're impressing a lot of the people out there, on the chat, mate. They think you should replace Jamie Carragher, mate, in the Sky Studios. I'm just saying, mate.
I didn't know there's someone out there who talks more than me. I didn't realise there's someone out there.
Do you know what, though?
I swear to God, mate. Listen, I know what Lee's like, mate. Funny enough, Lee, I said 3 years ago, you'd be a star at this, didn't I? Do you remember? I said,
you actually did.
Watch out for Lee Gunner. I said, let me tell you now, Arsenal Fans TV get hold of someone, they need to get hold of him.
Do you know what? I appreciate that, Tony. Do you know why they're saying I should be the next? I should be. Go on.
Which the next Carragher?
See, the best. You know what? I've been saying this for about a year now. The best thing that could happen to this club is coming out of the top 4 this season. This is the season we we should come out the top 4, but I don't think we will.
Yeah,
because the way we've been fluking results, last-minute winners, referee decisions here and there, you know, and we'll get there. We'll get there. And you know what? When the pressure's off, we'll start with. We'll win games. You know, when we go. Do you
know what, Afsal? Right, I totally agree with you. Yeah, in my opinion, like top 4 don't mean shit to me unless you win it. Yeah, it's either first or nothing, right? So what does top 4 get? Top 4 gets you Champions League. Who cares about Champions League? We ain't gonna win it.
But Lee, why do your fans then go on about some bloody Tottenham's Day or whatever it's called?
That's the
let Afsal answer that.
Freaking celebrating last day of the season, celebrating outside Emirates as if we'd won the league last day of the season. I was happy we overtook Tottenham, and I did find it funny, but I wasn't celebrating anything. There was a lot of people celebrating at the Emirates last day of the season, and that's the problem. That's the worst thing that could have happened.
I know, got on my track.
That's the worst thing that happened because it's just not. Things aren't changing now. This season, in the club's long-term interests, coming out of the top 4 might be a good thing. But like I said, I don't think it will happen because under Wenger, like we'll never win the league under him, but we'll always be top 4 with him because you know.
Well, look, let me ask you. Yeah. Let me ask you.
Is Claude still there? Is Claude still there?
No, God, no. You can hear his audio. You know his audio when it's clicking, it's going.
Yeah, it's really bad.
He's muting some all right now. Listen, Kenny, can you hear me all right, buddy?
Kenny, God knows why, but Kenny.
Take your
come in, Kenny.
Yeah. Claude rightly muted me, but he rightly muted me. But as I was no, I don't know who Claude is. But Claude, I listened to what Lee and Afsal said. You're 100% right. But as I said last week on Arsenal Fan TV Extra, and I've said it to on Google Talk, it won't make a difference because I generally believe that because the parameters at Arsenal is top 4. And Kroenke and all the board have set Wenger that target. Because Wenger's always been given that target over the last 15 or 20 years, what they're going to do is that they're going to think, well, it's a bit unfair sacking a manager if we come out the top 4 because from what you mentioned that we got £200 million of cold cash in the bank, and the fact that financially we can actually afford to be one season at the Champions League. So that means that if we're at the Champions League, they're going to want stability for the club, and they're going to want to encourage Wenger to get us back in it because, in their eyes, it's unfair to sack someone who's failed once. Now, in our eyes, we're about glory. I'm about glory, Claude's about glory, and so's Afsal. But Arsenal fans, remember, we've got 2 Arsenals. The Arsenal Football Club that Tony fell in love with doesn't exist no more. It's an Arsenal PLC. And the Arsenal PLC is a money-making machine where they said that they wanted to be on par with Bayern Munich and Barcelona, and they have been. Off the field, they're on a par with Bayern and Barcelona in terms of like the commercial success that we're getting in terms of our business in India, South Africa, and all over the world, plus the TV money and the new TV deal. So we are definitely on a par with these clubs. But in terms of Arsenal Football Club, which Arsene Wenger is solely responsible for us, it's not a success. And that's one of the reasons why. A lot of people say that the board should take part of the blame. I don't think so. Arsene Wenger should be culpable at all levels because
of course they're scared of him, Kenny. They're scared of him.
Wenger is everything. Arsene Wenger is the alpha and omega at the football club. He controls all aspects of the football club in terms of dealing with.
Your Fergie, isn't he?
Yeah, he deals with agents.
Yeah, definitely.
He negotiates the salaries, and most importantly, he deals with the paying side. Like the scouts report out of Wenger. Wenger doesn't fancy a player or fancy wages. That player goes elsewhere. And that's why Arsene Wenger has to be accountable at all levels. You can't blame the board because the last 3 years, Arsene Wenger has had money to spend. Loads of it. He spent 90 million this year.
Yeah.
So he's culpable.
So in a nutshell then, Kenny, if I was to ask you in as quickly as possible, so I just want to move on to something else before we kick off with the questions because believe it or not, we've rattled for a bit of time now. Okay, Ian White's saying he's thinking about that he was likely to be moving on, but then of course it's not that back Wenger himself, isn't he? Can you? What's your opinion? Can you see him gone at the end of the season?
Well, as I said before, what Arsene Wenger needs to do is that everyone says that Wenger has to accept. I use a strong word. Arsene Wenger needs to admit, and I use it in capital letters. He has to admit that he is no longer the right man to take us forward. And when he admits that he's not the right man for the job, then we can move on and take the club forward. Because what Arsene Wenger, the best thing Arsene Wenger could do is that Arsene Wenger has left, believe it or not, good foundations at the football club. He left fantastic foundations. We're 70% there, but we need someone to take it up to 30%. Because what we need to do,
spot on, Kenny.
We've got the best player in the world in our team.
Yeah, what he needs to do, what Arsene Wenger needs to, what we need to do is that we need to challenge regularly for the title, and we need to challenge regularly in Europe. Now, another manager could take us to that level. Arsene Wenger cannot do that. A lot of people. I hope so. I hope he does admit that.
What's your opinion, though? Do you think he's going, or do you think he'll stick it out another 2 years?
I think he's gone. He's gone. He's lost respect.
He's gone.
He's lost the respect to the fans. He's lost the support of the fans. So he's a goner.
I think he knows that as well, Kenny. I think he might be arrogant and he might be in his own little bubble, but deep down, I believe that he understands that it's game over for him. And I personally think he's gone in the summer.
I can't wait. One thing I've got to say as well is that people talk about respect and about things. I can't respect Arsene Wenger. I will never slag him off publicly, but I'm not going to go if he does leave at the end of the season. I want people to leave me out of the platitudes, because I'm not going to go from wanting this guy out and vehemently calling for his sacking to all of a sudden say, "Oh, go back to Memories Wenger." I'm sorry, I'm out of that conversation.
Kenny, I'll invite you to my party, mate. It's going to be the biggest party of the century the day that guy leaves my club, mate.
I'll be coming. That's not being disrespectful. I'm being honest. I don't want Arsene Wenger to be Arsene manager. I haven't wanted him there for about 8 years. I want him to resign.
Do you think all four of you guys are in the minority or in the majority now?
Majority now.
What does Claude think? Claude's still there. Is he still there?
Well, I don't know. Claude, can you hear us?
Majority.
Majority.
We can hear you.
We can hear you, Claude.
60-40.
50-50.
Huh?
50-50.
But you've got the likes of that. You've got that. Well, obviously you've got Ty, ain't you, and what's this, Ginger Chris, and they're all pro Wenger, aren't they?
I think it's.
I think Robbie is deep down and all, actually.
60-40 in Wenger out. I think more and more by the week are coming Wenger out.
So you're all convinced.
Yeah, I think majority are going against him, and he walk. And hopefully we'll get someone like Allegri in.
Diego
Simeone.
You mean Allegri? Allegri.
Yeah. It's a paper pot, really.
I was like, where am I Kenny calling the whole goalkeeper? Jakub Voskovic last week. Remember?
Do you know what? Personally, Tony, right? I think that 95% of Arsenal fans believe the geezer's finished. Yeah. The difference is, I'd say only about 35% of them have got the bollocks to say it. Yeah, the rest of them won't say
Gary
it.
Neville's right, though. If he was to announce he's leaving now, you'd all turn into Wenger lovers.
No.
He's the greatest manager we've ever had.
I'll tell you what I would do. I'd stop abusing the geezer left, right and centre all over Twitter. Yeah, and I'd leave off. I would leave off. Right, because I do, mate. I add Arsenal into everything, right? And at the end of the day, like I said earlier in the show, the geezer's destroyed my football club as far as I'm concerned, right? But if he came out on tomorrow morning, and said, "That's it, I'm done. I'm leaving on the 30th of June or whatever the date may be in the summer," yeah, I would stop. I would stop, because it's a release. It's like, yes, he is finally leaving. I don't need to keep pushing this agenda, because it is an agenda. My agenda is to get him out of my club. I get told every day, "You've got an agenda." Yeah, I have. I want my club to win. Yeah, and all the time he's here, we ain't going to win.
He's spot on.
All right.
So
well, look, listen,
I would stop.
Let's just have a quick one then about top four guys. Okay. I mean, look. Okay, six don't go into four. We know that. Chelsea, Spurs, City, Liverpool, United, and Arsenal. If we go, we'll start off with Afsal actually.
All right.
What's your 1 to 6? 1 to 6, because we're not going to have Everton in that 6, are we?
Okay, Chelsea will comfortably win it. Chelsea will comfortably win it.
I'm going to make a little note of this, Afsal.
Yeah. Chelsea comfortably win it.
Go on, Sam.
I've got this funny feeling that we're just going to fluke second. You know, like last season, we're just going to, Spurs are going to mess up at the end. And I just got this funny feeling we're just going to, and everyone's going to be like, oh, great season. You know, it's going to do my head in a bit. Like,
and then they'll stay.
Yeah, I don't want, I'm not going to say anything, but I don't know.
I
like,
want you to finish second, mate.
I don't know. I think this is the thing, yeah. When the pressure's off, we will win games. We win all these games, and you know what? And teams around us like may start slipping up, and I don't know. I've got a feeling we might just edge second. I don't know. Weird. Like on goal by 1 point.
What are you saying?
Arsenal.
So what are we looking at? Who's second then?
Days. Anyone can get second. I'm just Arsenal, whatever. I don't know. I've got this funny feeling in me for the last week that we're just going to fluke.
Okay.
Yeah. Can't believe I said
second,
that. But yeah. Third.
You have. So Wenger's staying.
Third. Freaking Spurs will come third. We'll beat them by 1 point. Spurs will come third. And Man United
Spurs
will come
just above them, right?
Man United will come.
Mourinho.
I want Liverpool to.
Man City are going to have a complete.
I want Liverpool.
Man City on a skydive. Yeah.
I want Liverpool in the top 4 because I love Klopp, but I don't know. And then fifth, Man City, 6th, Liverpool.
Wow, Liverpool 6.
I had Liverpool
it's hard, isn't
third, second or third the whole season, but I don't know why. I've just got this. I don't know.
Cool. Can you hear us, mate?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
What's your top 6, mate?
I think Man United and Arsenal will finish outside.
Wow. Ooh. Okay, so Arsenal, what, 5th or 6th?
I think Arsenal will finish 5th, Man United 6th.
Wow. Okay. That's nothing like a bit of controversy there. Controversial stuff from Claude. And 4th, mate?
4th, I think will be Liverpool.
Well, okay.
3rd will be Spurs, and 2nd will be Man City.
Take it you put us as champions, yeah? Not Everton. Right, cool.
Fulham.
Fulham, yeah. Okay. Any particular explanation then? You're going to go on free falling, aren't you? Arsenal on free falling. I did notice actually you've got Man City, haven't you?
Man City
to come to your place
and run you close. I think Liverpool will finish. Did I say Liverpool 3rd? Then I say no. Sorry, Spurs 3rd and Liverpool 4th.
Spurs, yeah. Okay, buddy. Okay, Lee.
Obviously, Chelsea to win it. I'm going to say Spurs 2nd. That is proper controversy. Wow. That, especially when I come to Arsenal finishing outside the top 4 in a minute. They'll be saying I'm a closet Spurs fan.
Well, they're easy on the eye, though. They're really easy on the eye, though, mate.
Right. The reason I think that Chelsea and Spurs have finished 1st and 2nd is because I think they've got the most settled groups in terms of players, and they've got the best 2 managers on current form this season. That's my opinion. I think Pochettino's doing a great job for them. Sad to say it because it's sad to see them doing all right, but they'll finish.
Do you remember, Claude? Right in the summer, I'll just interrupt you there, Lee. In the summer, Claude come on. It was live. We were going live, and next thing I had this phone call from Claude. You know, he used to phone me when I was live, and I'm sure he used to bloody know it. And he used to come on. Oh, you live? I said, well, yeah, Claude. You know I'm live. Oh, I'm sorry. Right. Anyway, right. Next thing you know, right, he's just going. Oh, you never guess what? I've got someone in the cab. It's a bloke from Sky Sports, and he's told me this. Your next manager is Pochettino. Isn't it? Oh, Claude. It's coming to us, mate. It's an exclusive flight for SW6. Not quite happening, is it?
ITK.
Okay, mate. Yeah. So you're going Spurs 2nd then, mate, yeah?
Yeah, I'll go Spurs 2nd, Man City 3rd.
Yeah. Okay.
Man United 4th.
Wow. Okay.
Arsenal 5th.
Wow.
And obviously,
Liverpool.
Sorry, Liverpool 6th. Yeah. So yeah, Chelsea 1st, Tottenham 2nd, Man City 3rd, Man United 4th, Arsenal 5th, Liverpool 6th. The reason I've done that, right?
Wow.
And the
That's
reason
really
I'm saying that,
because,
right,
on,
in my opinion, I think that Arsene Wenger has already told the squad that he's doing one. That's what I think, yeah. Which is why they've played like a complete bunch of fucking idiots all season. Yeah, it's because I think they just don't give a fuck because they're like, well, he's gone anyway. And that's another reason as to why
they've killed 2 players or not signing
yeah, that's
contracts.
it. I was just coming on to that. I was just going to say that's why I also think, yeah, not because he's going, but they're stalling because he's only offering them X or Y. The new manager will come in and offer them Z, which would be more than X and Y. So they're clever because they want to stay, in my opinion, but they're going to wait for the new managers to come in and go, well, you're the best fucking players here. Let's give you X amount more than what Wenger offered you.
Are you sure? Are you sure Ozil's our best player? Yeah.
No, well, listen, Afsal, right? I slagged that geezer off left, right, and centre, and in my opinion, yeah, he is the most overrated footballer. You've started me off now, right? He is the most overrated footballer I have ever seen in my life. Yeah, the geezer is overrated. Yeah, but he has world-class ability, and we have seen that in glimpses. Yeah, which is why he pisses me off because when he fancies it, he's fantastic, but he fancies it once every 3 months.
Exactly.
Mourinho got the best out of him.
Yeah. Yeah, but do you know why, Tom? Because if he didn't play well for Jose, like any player, look at Juan Mata, Chelsea Player of the Season 2 years in a row, he fucked him off. Yeah, you know, and you know, at the end of the day, if he didn't play well under Jose Mourinho, he was dropped. Arsene Wenger, he can play shit every week, and every week he's getting picked. So, you know, where's the incentive to play well? There ain't one. He can just mince around the pitch half-hearted and still get picked every week. So. But I'll take
Ozil off you. I'll take Ozil.
Hey, mate, we're swapping for Fabregas all day long. I'll take that now.
Oh, mate, when we bought Fabregas, mate, I remember your phone call to me. Oh, you were laughing down the phone with me. You got that piece of dog shit.
Yeah, I was, mate. How wrong I was. I can hold my hands up and say I was wrong.
Yeah, right. Good. Well, glad you said that.
When Wenger goes, Ozil goes, and the Ozil and Wenger fans go. That'll be a dream, you know. That'll be like winning the treble, you know.
Why don't you just shut your club down, mate? Fucking, you know.
That's a treble.
Well, I personally think, Tom, we should sign the club over to Arsene Wenger and fold when he dies. Yeah, fuck it. Oh, that's what most Arsenal fans think he built Arsenal. So fuck it, just sign the club over to him.
Well, what's really interesting, of course, is here that Claude and let's assume that Wenger does hang up his boots. Well, what do you say for a manager? Hangs up his jacket. You know, his
tracksuit.
His zipper jacket, the one he can't, you know, get it right.
Yeah.
You've got your new manager down for a Europa League challenge in his first season.
Yeah, and do you know what time? Right? Imagine he won it. First European trophy at Arsenal.
You'd be unbearable I swear to God, if you won a Europa League or a Champions League you lot would be unbearable. Unbearable.
Not a league title, but you see how you lot went on when you won. You see how it was funny when you won the Champions League, right? I knew when Messi missed that penalty in the semi, you were going to win it. It was just all set up, right? Yeah. And I remember watching it. You know Andy Smith, didn't you? Right? I was watching it with Andy Smith and his brother. Yeah. Right. Proper Chelsea fans. Yeah. And as soon as Drogba scored that penalty, I walked out. Yeah, I was just like gone. Yeah, but they're still now to this day. They still to this day like, yeah, we've won the Champions League. Yeah, that's how we'd be. We can all take the piss and go fuck off Chelsea. Yeah, you're nothing. You're this. You're that. Yeah, but if we had won it, imagine how much more we'd give you.
Worst thing you ever done was the season after that, right? Play us in the League Cup and give us 9,000 tickets because there was 9,000 inflatable European Cups in the one end. Well, a bit of an exaggeration, but you know what it was like that day, guys. It was pretty normal. Right, so you've got Arsenal not in the Champions League next season. Obviously, Afsal has. Right, I'm going to give you my 6.
Yeah, no, it's mine.
So I don't.
What about Kenny?
Oh, yeah, I mean, sorry, Kenny. Sorry. Sorry,
Kenny's
Kenny.
Been sat there patiently waiting.
I know, it is. Right. No, sorry.
All right.
Sorry.
Chelsea to win the league by I think they're going to wrap it up in April, start dropping a few points, and their 10-point lead will probably be about a 6-point lead after they've won it. I think the team that will finish second, because Arsenal thrive in no pressure, I'm afraid that we're going to finish third behind Manchester City.
Right, so you're saying Man City second,
Arsenal third. And that's only because we thrive when there's no pressure. And I'm going to go for, reluctantly, Manchester United.
Oh, I thought I was going to say Spurs.
Reluctantly, Man United.
Spurs are the top 4, Kenny.
And Spurs fifth. And Liverpool would, I think it's between Spurs and Liverpool 5th and 6th. The reason why I'm saying it about it is that all the big teams seem to be beating each other, and it's just too close to call. So I think we're all playing for second place. We're all playing for second place because there's only a few points in it.
Very little.
Yeah.
5 points.
I think what's going to happen is that the big clubs, Arsenal, Tottenham, Man City, Man United, and Liverpool will drop points. And I think that's why it's going to be too close to call. Trust me, it'll be like Chelsea on a.
So Manchester Derby, it's been postponed, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the League Cup final, and that again. I think what's going to happen is that it'll be like Chelsea on about 90 points. Then it'll be probably Man City on 84, and then it'll be Arsenal on 82, 81, and you know what I mean. That's how I think it's going to go. I think they're all good teams. And you look at the situation of Man United, they keep on winning and they're unbeaten for about 7 games, but they're still 6th.
Yo, Kenny, for us to get 82 points, we've got to win 10, draw 2, lose 1. You think we're capable of?
100% we're capable because there's no pressure on us. We're not going to win the league. So
I think winners will be 87, 88. We'll get about 8, 79, 80, I think.
Yeah, but that's good enough for third place.
Yeah, and it'll be very easy. Second to 6th. 5-6 points in, I think.
Okay, this is mine. Okay, guys. I'm going to go obviously for Chelsea. Like I said, you know, without giving it large, I did back us for the title right at the start, and certainly not going to change my mind. But I do think in second spot it's going to be Manchester City. I just do. But I think you'll finish third, guys. I think you will get in that top 4, and I fancy. I hate to say it, but Manchester United, and I'm a carbon copy of you right down to 6, Ken, because I'm going with Spurs 5th and coming in at 6th. And I don't know if you could juggle them all up, like almost chuck it into some computer. And one of us is some kind of Pythagoras amongst us all, and you could work out. I mean, obviously, for Chelsea would be top, wouldn't they? But the most seconds, I mean, we've got Arsenal 1, Man City and Spurs, Man City. So Man City would be second. That'd be Chelsea, Man City. And then the next one is...
You said City.
That's the only place where we can all see.
Would be Arsenal. And then who? Next one would be...
It's just here.
Spurs. United. And then it'd be Liverpool. Right, there you go. So if we was to chuck it into a computer between the lot of us, yeah? Chelsea champions, Man City second, Arsenal third, Spurs 4th. That'd be 3 London sides in the top 3. Top 4. And 5th United, 6th Liverpool. There you go. Who's that? Is that you're having a party? You're in a hotel, aren't you, Ken?
Yeah, that's it. I'm afraid so that you could tell them in a hotel, like I said, it's a bit noisy. That's why I'm keeping as quiet as I can. And like I said, someone in here go, wrap this up.
Oh, I'm going to wrap it up now, mate. Normally go to the questions, but I'll tell you what we go, guys. We'll wrap it up then, yeah, because it's been a thoroughly enjoyable night. And I'm really
guys, I want to apologise. I want to apologise for that. Lee, I'm really sorry about this. We normally take a bit longer, and I'm really sorry for messing everyone's fun up.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Ken, why are you saying sorry, man?
No, he needs to.
I need to apologise because we normally at this for about 4 or 5 hours.
2.5 hours. 3 hours.
I'm glad Claude ain't involved. I swear to God, Lee, some of them honestly might have been epic. We had the longest one. It was 4.5 hours.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
4.5 hours.
was one where we started.
Sometimes join 12:30, 1 o'clock.
And check this one out, Lee. Check this one out. Claude wanted to carry on. Any more questions? He's like, any more questions? No, we're ready to go, mate. Any more questions? Do you know what I mean?
You know, Tony,
There you
can
go.
I say one more thing? Yeah, I hope when the new manager comes, hopefully Allegri or someone, he does shape up the squad a bit. I think it's important we need to sell Ramsey because he's not good enough. We need to sell Theo Walcott. Theo Walcott needs to go, and I'm going to make a big call here. We need to sell the superstar because
Ozil's got to go. Ozil's got to go.
we've got to sell the superstar because no matter, I know he's the best player in the world, but we've got to freshen up a bit. You can't win a title with Ozil, Ramsey, Coquelin in that three. You won't do it. Coquelin is good. He shows passion, whatever, but you can't win a. Don't you agree? You can't not win a title with those three. No
Spot on,
matter
mate.
who the
Spot on.
manager is, you will not win a title with Ozil, Ramsey, Xhaka in that three. You won't. You can bring Conte, you can bring whoever, but you won't. Because
Can I just say something, Afsal, right?
Yeah.
And I don't like putting words in people's mouths, so I'm going to put it into both your mouths, Lee. I know you don't want me to do that, but I think we've all between us, we've dispelled two myths. One of the biggest myths is that Ozil's world class,
Yeah.
and the other myth that annoys me at Arsenal is that Coquelin's some sort of holy grail. I mean, every time people used to talk about Coquelin, they just say about, oh, if Coquelin ever gets injured. The last season, I saw Kante at Leicester, and then I saw him at Chelsea, right, against us.
£20 million less, boys.
And I was thinking to myself, I ain't got it. Everyone's like waxing lyrical about Coquelin. I've just seen someone who excuse my French.
Do you know what, Kenny?
Yeah.
Right? I see a stat before the game at the weekend, against Hull. Right before that game against Hull, 10 games that Coquelin started this season.
Yeah,
we've lost. We've lost. When he's played, we've lost. Yeah, so as much as I think he's been very good this season, he has been a bit of a liability in certain games.
He's overrated.
He is overrated massively.
He got mullered at Stamford Bridge.
Big time.
I suggested in one article that I wrote an article, and I said that Arsenal need to buy a complete midfield to supplement Coquelin and not go in front of him. And people said I was a stupid article. We've just seen, right, that if you saw last week, Kante was the best player on the field. He started the attacks.
Absolute beast.
And what was happening is that if you noticed, right, you never noticed that at Stamford Bridge, when Hazard was making that forward run where he scored that goal, who was running off the ball? It wasn't Costa. It wasn't Matic. It was Kante. Run off the ball, taking the defenders out.
It's Colossus, mate.
And that is what I call a midfielder.
He's the perfect midfielder. I'd even go as far as to say, and this is really controversial because so good they named the role after him. I think he's either on a par or better than Makelele. That's how good I think he is.
he is.
I think he's better, mate. And I remember Makelele.
He's got everything about him, Kante. He's world class.
One other thing, so before my kids strangle me, is it any wonder that if you look at the French national side, I don't see Coquelin near it, but I do see Kante near it. Just saying.
Spot on.
You had the chance to buy him, guys. You've got
to compare like for like Coquelin and Kante. Look like for like Coquelin and Kante, Dembele and Coquelin. Obviously, Dembele and Kante are better. Ramsey and Ramsey and Dembele. Look at Ramsey and Dembele. Ramsey is awful.
Do you know what, Afsal, right? You're absolutely spot on, Afsal, yeah? And the only reason Aaron Ramsey still gets anywhere near Arsenal Football Club is because he scored the goal that ended our trophy drought.
What's going on with Ramsey?
Yeah,
like, I don't know.
That is the only reason he is still an Arsenal footballer, because he scored the winner in the cup final that ended our trophy drought. Yeah, that is the only reason he is here, right? And when you look at Kante, and when you hear Arsene Wenger saying, well, I could have signed Kante, and we're all like, hang on, he was £3 million cheaper than Xhaka. Yeah, but when you look in terms of wages, Xhaka's on more wages than Kante. So overall, the package was a lot cheaper buying Xhaka.
Which
says it all.
I think with Xhaka, he was very much a long-term target, and by the beginning of last season, he was already coming to Arsenal. So I think that's with Wenger. But I think in terms of Kante, again, Arsene Wenger had Coquelin, and he didn't want to upset Coquelin because Coquelin was the best holding midfielder in the Premiership. Myth. Again, that's one thing about coming on shows like this is that we've dispelled a lot of myths. We've dispelled the myth. We've destroyed Ozil as a myth. Coquelin's a myth. Arsene Wenger's spending plans over the last 30 years was a myth.
Yeah.
The fact that we paid at the stadium is the biggest myth as well. So we should do more shows.
So when you think about it, this is absolutely. Well, listen, we always get on anyway. But this is good therapy for you guys, really. This SW6. It's kind of like
it's great.
Therapy.
We can. It's like a release time.
Well, what can I say? You know, all releases are. You know,
who would you start? Who would you have? Well, I can ask Kenny Lee. Who would your start?
Up another one now.
Wednesday for the Bayern Munich game.
Ozil would not get that there team or drop Ozil.
I would play Ox in number 10. Ox is number 10, and I'd play 2 out of Xhaka, Coquelin, El Neni behind. I would not play Ozil. Ox needs to play. Yeah, Ox
we don't need
10
him. He's a passenger. Kenny, we all know Afsal. You know this as well, right? He's a luxury player. When it's going well, like it did against Chelsea at the Emirates, he was fantastic that day. Yeah, but when he's up against it, there was a clip going around on Twitter. They showed it on Match of the Day last weekend, right? Somebody put it up on Twitter. Alexis Sanchez and Mesut Ozil defending. I think it was Gary Cahill just walked straight through the middle of them on halfway.
Yeah. Right in the middle, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He just
like dropped his shoulder and just walked straight through the middle. It's like, I mean, Sanchez. I'll never slag Alexis Sanchez off because
he tried. He's World Cup.
Yeah, he tries. Yeah, fair enough. He's due one bad game every 100. Yeah, but I see a stat the other day. No, it was this morning. The last 90 goals Arsenal have scored, Alexis Sanchez has been directly involved in 66 of them. Yeah, people seem to think
that's
2/3. Well, it's over 2/3, right? And people seem to think that he just runs around and he's a headless chicken and gives the ball away. Yeah, he might do that. He might.
No, he's a class act, mate. He's a class act.
Mate, trust me, Tony. Right? Anyone who rates Mesut Ozil pretty much hates on Alexis Sanchez. Yeah. And they say that Mesut Ozil's the best player at Arsenal. Mesut Ozil ain't even the best number 10 at Arsenal, let alone the best number 10 in the league. Right? Alexis Sanchez. Santi Cazorla's miles better. Right? And coming back to your question very quickly, Afsal, just to answer your question quickly, right? My starting 11 for the Munich game, wouldn't involve Mesut Ozil. I'd play Iwobi at number 10. Yeah, because I thought Iwobi a couple of weeks ago at number 10 was fantastic. And then he moved him. The following game, he played him in the centre again, and then he moved him out wide. And he played him out wide. The following game, moved him in the centre, but play him at number 10. Yeah, he offers pace, power, tracking back. Although his tracking back's not fantastic, but he's getting better. Yeah, he offers a goal threat, which Mesut doesn't. Yeah, and he actually turns up and actually gets on the pitch and shows that he wants to play for our football club. Yeah, so coming into our biggest game of the season, personally, I'd drop Ozil because he's been fucking anonymous for 2 months since he scored. Yeah, I'd start Welbeck personally, and I'd have even Alexis Sanchez could play in behind Welbeck. Yeah, because in my opinion, Alexis Sanchez has got better vision than anyone else in that football club. Yeah, some of the passes that geezer pulls off are just unbelievable. Yeah, and people go on about Ozil passing and vision. Alexis Sanchez's vision is no. I'm not going to turn it into an Ozil fucking slag off, but at the end of the day, Alexis Sanchez is Arsenal's best footballer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he is. He is. But I've had enough of Arsenal now, boys. You know what I mean?
The Lord Wenger.
Come on, Munich. Come on, Munich.
Come to the questions, mate. Come to the questions.
Right, mate, listen, we've got to shut it down because of old Kenny there. Right, listen, we're going to shut it down now, boys. That's
cool, man.
Is I want to say thank you to all my guests tonight. Thank you so much, Afsal, and well done on the viral vid, mate. 220,000 people. Wow.
And counting. And
still going,
And a like from Oxlade Chamberlain. What can I say? You know,
hero.
Sorry, man.
He's the newest member of the Wenger out brigade.
and he doesn't. Basically, Ozil's a wob, and he doesn't rate Ozil.
Well, what can you say? Do you know what I mean? And also to my really good friend, Mr. Lee Gunner, or otherwise known as Jamie Carragher.
Right, listen, the reason people are saying I'm the next Carragher, right? Yeah, they can actually understand what I'm saying, whereas with Carragher, it's like, hey.
Get me on,
mate. I'll do it half the price.
Well, there you go.
Thanks,
and I'll say good
mate.
night. No, it's fantastic, and I hope you come back on again.
Yeah, of course, definitely, anytime, mate.
In fact, you know what, we will do this again, and I also want to say thank you. He didn't get really much to say, did he? But his audio was terrible. But we see his head a few times, and he said a few words. So thank you, Claude. And so thank you very much if you're listening out there or whatever. Lovely to see you, mate, and I'll give you a call tomorrow.
Top man,
Claude. And also, my thanks to the man with the children in the hotel room.
It's been a
Mr. Kenny King.
Thank you very much. Tony, thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure. Next time I do a show, I'll do it under much more disciplined circumstances. But I am a father and a husband, and I've got to get that.
Father and a husband, I love her.
Just a husband. That's a father.
But I don't like Arsene Wenger.
I hate him.
What can you say? What can you say? And also, I want to thank you guys out there, actually, and especially for the people that have stuck with us, you know, over that 3-month delay. Listen, guys, SW6 is here to stay. It's all about this, yeah. I don't want it to be a cringy type channel. And I've been respectful, guys. So, you know,
just keep doing. Tone. Sorry, I'm cutting you off, mate. Right, listen, I've watched your show loads, Tone. Yeah, right. You just keep doing what you're doing. You're doing well, mate. Yeah, keep the Chelsea flag flying high for you. Yeah,
absolutely.
We still have our banter all season, and at the end of the day, we're all mates. Of
course, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. And I want to bring the West Ham boys back in as well, like because Paul, we love Paul, don't we? Paul Unwin. Yeah. And we also love Jason as well. Great people. And I've actually got. Well, I work with one actually. I don't know, mate. He's actually their top lad, the top lad. I don't suppose he can come on. He's a proper boy, you know what I mean? Like, you know.
Get him on.
I swear to God, Kenny, he was running you down the road like last season.
He probably was, you know.
It's after his advertising audience, wasn't he? Give me back my advertising audience. And he said, top boy. I can't
get him on. All right, guys.
Yeah, his name's Mark. You know what I mean? Dante and all that lot. You know what I mean?
Mark, hello, Mark. I'd love to do a show with you. Be nice.
Fair enough. He says, you know, because he hates Chelsea, obviously. He says, you know what, for a Chelsea fan, he goes, I love you. I said, well, fucking so you should.
Well, that's because you're a nice fella. You might support the wrong team, Time, but you're a nice bloke.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, thank you very much, guys.
I think the thing with Tony was born in Ealing. Said even though QPR was nearer to where you're born, Tony.
Well, actually, that's not actually correct, mate. That's not actually correct. And I just want to pick this one up before we go off air. Because I was born in Chelsea Westminster Hospital. I lived all my life. I went to school in Acton, Fulham, Hammersmith. So I'm a Chelsea boy. You are right. It could have been QPR. It could have been Fulham. It was the Chelsea. But my mother is a gooner. So there you go.
Right. She had sense.
Well, no, see, I come out the right way, mate. Obviously, you know.
It's like
I love you, Tony.
Tony, we've got to wrap this up.
About that.
We've got to wrap this up. It's like Tiz was in here now at the moment.
Oh no, mate! It's got to go, mate. It's got to
nice
go.
One, lads.
Guys, love it all out now. We'll be on again, won't we, boys? Yeah, we'll be on.
Definitely.
You know, let us know what you think in the comment section. And you know, if you like it and you want us back, just let us know. Give it the old likes that way, by the way. Give us the old likes, and we'll be back. Chelsea SW6, keep the blue flag flying high, and